Hi, welcome to Happier Ladies, a podcast where we discuss all things related to the Happier in Hollywood podcasts.
We're sisters
And super fans.
who can't get enough happier.
So we created our own podcast to keep the conversation going.
I'm Malika Amandi, a SoCal native living in Western Massachusetts, a new mom, and an entrepreneur. I'm here with my sister, Azizi Williams.
That's me. I live and work in the LA area. I'm a not-so-new mom, and I'm an education professional in the independent school world. In this episode, we celebrate our first anniversary! Yay! We'll go over our poll results and share peeks from some of our listeners.
But first, I have a photo book update.
Ooh.
One of the photo books I wanted to make, I have made 0 photo books, by the way, so
Is
far.
that the update?
No, but I was wanting to do one that captures Indigo's first year of preschool because it's been such an eventful year, and they take a ton of pictures and put them in a drive. So you get to see all of these photos. So I wanted to do something with them.
Yes.
And gold star to his teachers for the last day of school. They gave us a gift, which included a personalized photo book that they put together. So they actually went through and printed out photos of him throughout the year and put them into like a journal. They had his name on the front. They each wrote
Aw,
a note to him. So it was kind of like a little yearbook.
that's so sweet.
So sweet. They just went above and beyond. So I was really impressed.
Is it like a scrapbook or did they have it published?
No, it was like a scrapbook. Like somebody pasted
Oh,
photos in there.
wow.
There were 3 teachers. They each wrote a note to Indigo specifically.
That is amazing. What a special
know.
keepsake that you'll have.
It was very moving. What is this even, this level of daycare? I don't know. I guess it's all preschool. It's like
Infant toddler.
a 3-class programs. He could be there till before he goes to kindergarten. So this
Yeah.
first stage, the infant classroom, I didn't know it would be so emotional, him moving on, but it turns out it is. Even though his break is only 2 weeks before he goes back, but he'll be in a new classroom, new teachers, and that was a very sweet gesture.
Anything that marks the passing of time. We've talked about this before, the importance of ceremony and ritual to kind of mark these milestones, even if they're just 2 years old.
Yeah.
It's still valuable. Has he seen it? Have you gone over it with him?
Yeah, we look at it together at the dinner table, and he's like, Indigo, or he recognizes
Yep.
himself and comments on things. And one other thing they did that I thought was so smart. So they call it a social story. And it's basically like a PowerPoint slide deck. It's like a picture book of what's going to happen for the child. Like, so you started in this classroom. These are some of the things we did. These were your teachers. And now you're going to move to this classroom. These are going to be your teachers. In this classroom, you wash your hands. It's just like a step-by-step picture book, but they created it as a slide deck so you could show it to your child on your phone.
It's like a digital picture book to help him with the transition.
Exactly. Yes.
Wow.
We've been kind of looking at that every few days to prepare for the next thing. But it's just like when you feel like there's a need that you didn't know you had, and then somebody's like, here's the thing you didn't know you needed. And you're like, oh, that's so cool. So shout out to Indigo's preschool and their teachers. They're watching out for us.
Now, Malika, they talked about, I think a listener shared and More Happier, they were talking about tips and suggestions to mark the transition to the school year and into the fall. And one of them was to pick out an outfit for the first day of school. Does Indigo have an outfit for the first day of school?
He doesn't. I
Oh,
hadn't even thought about that because his clothes get so dirty so fast. There's
right.
like, I mean, he'll look cute. Don't get me wrong. But like, it's probably going to be taken off at lunchtime.
He's 2. Again, he's almost 2. It's not that important probably at that age, but I definitely am thinking about my first day of school outfit. My first day of school is going to be Wednesday for where I work. So I'm thinking about what I'm going to wear.
That makes sense. You've got to make a big impact.
It does and it doesn't. It's just clothes, but it is something to make it feel special.
I thought about, okay, now Now we're kind of on a tangent, but that
Let's hear it.
so
Let's hear it.
with the listener who suggested that having a
Yes.
new outfit, and I think they said they bought a new plant each year for their office.
Mm.
I really wanted to do that. And also, I thought I could maybe buy a new, like, branded clothing item for the university where I work.
Oh, that's a good
'Cause there's
idea.
some nicer things. They're kind of pricey, but it's kind of nice to have them. Like, so
Yes.
maybe that will be my annual ritual.
Okay, you have to do this. So you have that beautiful large window in your office. You need a plant. Go to the student store, pick out some gear for the first day of school. And then I have my new outfit. I also added that Afghan, the blanket that I bought at the thrift store
Oh,
near your place. And I told a story about it with the staff, and it's going to live on my couch in my office. So that's one thing new I'm bringing into my office.
lovely. Well, let's take a break. And when we get back, we will dive into our listener poll results.
We're back with our poll results for our first anniversary survey. And I want to,
Azizi, how's your dinner game these days?
well, Malika, I used to struggle with what to cook for dinner.
You're cooking now?
Okay. Actually, my husband used to struggle with what to make for dinner. I mean, meal planning, grocery lists, yuck. But then we found Prep Dish. It's a weekly meal planning service that tells you exactly what to cook. And now they've partnered with Instacart, so your grocery list becomes a ready to go online cart.
Oh, what's in your cart, Azizi?
All of the Prep Dish ingredients, plus I can add energy drinks, chili crisp, lipstick, whatever, and check out in just a few clicks. Shopping online is so fun. The meals are family friendly, healthy, and super easy to prep. Dinner is easy to make, and now we look forward to new tasty meals.
Prep Dish is offering our listeners 2 weeks free. Just head to prepdish.com/happierladies to sign up. Again, that's prepdish.com/happierladies.
With a major selection of the looks your kiddos love starting at just $4 in the Walmart app, a new school year means a stylish new them. Who knew? Find skater skirts and Crocs that say, I'm casual but cool. Sparkly sneakers that say, it's my classroom, you're just learning in it. And preppy polos that say, I'm the teacher's pet, even if they're mommy's menace at home. Find their favorite styles starting at just $4 in the app. The Walmart you thought you knew is now new.
Just give a big thank you for everyone who took the time to answer our questions. We just put them out there. We weren't sure what the response were going to be. And it was so lovely just reading over all of your answers and hearing your thoughts about our show over the past year. I can't believe it's been a year. It's kind of amazing, kind of amazing. So thank you for that. I even learned, Malika, how to put a link in the bio of our Instagram page.
There you go.
I'm learning and growing. And now there's a link in the bio. So you can still take it if you haven't yet. Feel free. We'll continue to read those responses, but we are going to share with you some of the highlights.
So we asked, what was your favorite festival? For those who have noticed, every 10th episode, we do a festival of, where we do kind of a deeper, in the weeds conversation about some particular subject. And by a large margin, the favorite festival was the Festival of Personal Style, which was a 2-part festival, lad.
That was fun.
It was fun. Our second most popular festival was the Festival of Hookah.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, that surprised me.
Mhm.
And then coming in third was the Festival of Secondhand.
Hmm.
And then behind that was the Festival of Thanksgiving.
Nice. Well, listeners can look forward to even more personal style tips along the way as we go. That's an ongoing project. And also more festivals coming up in the weeks and months ahead.
Azizi, what was the favorite hack?
This was fun to watch. I was watching the results, regularly and seeing which hack was going to win. And for a long time, the sandwich hack was winning. And then at the last minute, this is the yoga took over. So, Malika, do you want to explain really quickly what this is the yoga means?
All right. So this year, my word of the year is yogi. So I've been thinking about how to incorporate yoga into my life, not just the physical practice, but the kind of mindset. And when things are going hard for me emotionally, I take a moment and I remind myself that this is the yoga. Whatever the hard thing is, that is the yoga. And the reason I practice breathing and moving calmly when my body's in difficult positions, it's not just for the physical benefit, but it's to have this other sense of mindfulness and equanimity. And so it's often when I'm having a challenge with my toddler
Mhm.
that I have to remind myself, this is the yoga. Like, I have tools for this. I'm prepared for this. This is what I practice being calm for or using my breath. And I say it out loud.
Mm.
And so often he repeats it to me also. Um,
Indigo says it now also. That's really funny.
but it's good to remember when something feels hard, like, oh, this is actually what it's supposed to be. Or I have tools to handle this. It's not impossible.
Don't say it out loud, but I do say it to myself sometimes. And there's something about that phrase that just causes you to take a breath, like, you know, and that's
Yeah.
just give you the little bit of peace you need to continue on with something that's challenging. So I agree with everyone. I think that's a very powerful hack or tip.
So what was second?
The second one was the sandwich hack, Malika. So tell
Okay.
the listeners about the sandwich hack, although most of them know it and seem to
Okay.
enjoy it.
So this is when you have a sandwich that you've made that you might otherwise just cut in half for your lunch or whatever. So instead of cutting it in half down the middle, you kind of make one section a little bit bigger than the other. So you have one small section and one bigger section. And when you eat it, you must eat the small section first. Once you've eaten the small section, your brain looks at that big section and goes, oh my gosh, I've got so much sandwich left. And it's as if your body thinks you just ate the same size section, even though the first one was smaller. But it's just like a very satisfying kind of bonus, abundant feeling. So it's a very easy thing to do. Instead of cutting your sandwich down the middle, make one side bigger, and it has very impactful results.
Well, I have to say this surprised me. I did not realize how much this was resonating. Such a simple strategy for happiness, but hey, simple, complex, they're all important. And then the third most popular hack or tip was Q-tip, which stands for quit taking it
Mhm.
personally. And this is where when something happens to you or when, you're going through something challenging, particularly with a spouse or a coworker, to not take their behavior personally. And that helps you to get through it without reacting or going into a negative spiral if you just realize, you know what, it wasn't for me. That's not about me necessarily. That's another strategy to get through a difficult time or moment.
That's a good one too.
Mhm. So, Malika, can people tell us apart?
Good question. So, according to the poll, 56.5% of the participants said sometimes.
Oh, a large majority can sometimes tell us apart. All right. That's fair.
Yeah. 30% said yes,
Ah,
and then 13% said no.
okay. Well,
So, I think it's easy. We better keep saying our names.
okay, Malika. We'll keep saying our names. And Malika, I think this is
Yeah.
a stat we should track. Let's see what
Okay.
happens in year two. Maybe there's some shift or change after a year.
I will say that your own child said that she could not tell us apart on this podcast.
Oh, yeah.
So she probably has the most experience hearing your voice, and still.
Yeah. That means the odds aren't great that we're going to change that statistic very much. But that's okay. We're so glad you enjoy it anyway. And we'll keep being mindful of saying our names so that you can know who's talking. So, Malika, we asked for people to let us know if they wanted to say something. We created a space where people could just share anything they wanted related to our anniversary. And We got some wonderful messages and notes, and so we wanted to read a few of them with you.
All right. This one says, I loved the romanticize your lunch episode with the sandwich hack. It really works.
Wow.
I also love This is the Yoga. I couldn't decide above. Would love to see a picture of the mud kitchen. All right. That supports the fact that the poll was very close
Right.
between those two.
That sums it up.
So I don't know which way they voted in the end, but maybe either one could have won. And we will share a picture of the mud kitchen on our Instagram feed.
Yeah, we'll post that. The next listener said, I really enjoy your podcast and you make me laugh very often. For example, when Malika is talking about the weather, something we do often in the East, or when she traveled to Montreal for a short trip, or about what to buy or not buy. You've mentioned once that you could start a segment on what not to buy. That would be great. Oh, and then there's something here in French.
It says, Et je parle français.
Oh, look at you. What does that mean?
And I speak French.
Oh, yes, you do. Fancy. So, yes, let's consider this, Malika. We'll have to think a little bit more about this potential segment of things that we've bought that we would not recommend buying. Could be helpful.
That's
People could
true.
find that helpful.
And I just love that we're getting love for talking about the weather because I almost always want to talk about the weather in the banter.
Always want to talk about the weather.
And you, Azizi, are like, come on, we can't talk about the weather every episode.
Everybody has weather. It's not interesting. I don't know.
I feel seen
Okay.
that, yes, we do talk about the weather often on the East because it's a roller coaster.
It doesn't change that much here, so maybe on the East it's more exciting.
All right, the next listener said, you guys are terrific. You've inspired me to start a happier group at the university where I work and to launch a happiness/academic advising podcast.
Ooh,
That's so
so
cool.
cool. Wow. Definitely share that podcast info with us so we can
Yes.
promote it. That's very cool. This listener said, I've listened to every episode. I look forward to each episode. I just got both my kids off to college. I plan to use every second of my newfound freedom in a positive manner. So that's someone who's on the open door journey also with
Yeah.
Gretchen, with me. That's very exciting. I'm happy for you.
And this listener says, I sometimes do Azizi's cheer with my kids or even in my head. I believe that I can win.
Yes, this makes me so happy. This makes me so happy. Malika, I think we have to do it now.
Okay.
Do you remember? So I'm going to say it first and then you say it. Repeat after me and then we say it together like 4 times.
Okay.
Ready? I
I
believe.
believe.
I believe that
I believe that I.
Now we say this together.
I believe that I can win.
I believe that I can win. I believe that I can win.
That I can win.
I believe
right.
that I can win.
We have some sync issues here, but
It's harder to do when we're on opposite coasts. But trust me, in a gym, in a packed gym, oh my goodness. Or in your car to yourself, very moving.
all right. Thank you so much for the anniversary messages. We are grateful to celebrate this milestone with each of you, and we really appreciate your support and your cheering for us along the way.
Thank you so much. More to come.
So, in the next segment, we want to reflect on this first year of podcasting.
Malika, what has surprised and or delighted you about making the podcast this year?
I think spending time and collaborating with you has been such a joy and a delight. I knew it would be fun in the beginning, but we didn't know that we would keep it going
Nope.
for 50 episodes plus.
Wow.
And so I've just been really surprised by how much joy I get from doing this with you and what a fun thing it's been to invest in this year. I think I've been surprised by just the love we've gotten from the listeners. You know, we really weren't sure how wide this circle would be of people who would listen to Happier Fan podcast. we roll deep. It's
Mm.
been so much fun to connect with so many other happier people. What has surprised or delighted you, Azizi?
Kind of the same, just that we could do it. We started with no knowledge or understanding of this process. We just had the desire to share with others how we connect around the happier content. And, again, something that we just did on our own for years. And so just having the idea of sharing with others was amazing, and pulling it off has been so exciting. This is one of the most constant things in my life right now. like every week we meet, at least twice to talk about this work. And I am so impressed with us that we have been able to maintain this with our busy lives and families. It's amazing. And it also just brings me endless joy to think about how others are excited and in this with us, and also on this happiness journey and enjoying what we're putting out there. So, yes, all of that.
Azizi, what challenges have you experienced with the podcast?
Like I mentioned before, just time and space. We're very busy, and to carve out the time to do this requires so much effort. We leap over hurdles each week. So I think that's the biggest challenge. What about you, Malika?
Same, I would say scheduling.
Hmm.
It's like, it's tricky. We get it in, but it's so intentional. We have to really move things around. And I stay up late, you get up
Hmm.
early. And shout out to Norm for being a very gracious partner and supportive person to kind of accept what I put on our shared calendar.
Yes. Thank you, Norm.
I think it's the combination of the scheduling being tricky, though we figured it out. We do it. We know it's going to happen, and it just does.
And I think that part of what makes it work is that it's you, my sister, who I have this great
Yeah.
relationship with. And so we know how to be flexible, when to push each other, and so much grace is given. I'm not sure it would be the same with someone else. Obviously, people do
Yeah,
it, but I think that has really helped in this first year.
that's true. Because sometimes we're like right before, could you do it later? Or I can't do it now. Could you do it tomorrow? And we're both very accommodating, like, okay.
Yes, we're very patient with each other and understanding
Yes.
all that we're doing.
So I think the other side of that is that it doesn't feel like we have enough time to implement all of our ideas.
Mm,
We have like a long list of different things we could do, and there's not a lot of time, I guess, to really strategize and then carry them out.
mm,
But I'd say the silver lining of that is that there's no urgency either.
right.
It's just
Yeah.
there's time. We're going to keep listening to Happier. Like we have no hard deadline
No,
for anything, but it's just the excitement of like, oh, we could do this and we could do that and we could do that. And it's the long game.
it's definitely the long game. So, to follow up from that, what are your hopes and dreams for year two?
Well, I think connected to that challenge, I would love for us to be able to have like more podcast retreat time
Mm,
to really plan things out.
hmm.
Because I feel like week to week, we're more focusing on the episode at
Right.
hand. So more time to kind of vision and
Mhm,
strategize. Ultimately, more content on some levels.
mhm.
So I have this deep dream of having like even happier ladies
Mhm.
episodes in our feed, which would just be so fun. When do we record those?
I
And
don't know,
what's the of those? I don't
when
know.
does this
But
happen?
we're gonna do it.
Okay.
What about you, Azizi? What do you hope and dream for your year two?
Merch. I
Mm,
wanna see a t-shirt, maybe a mug. I don't know, I just like the
yes.
idea of thinking about, even if you and I are the only ones who buy it, having something that has the name of our podcast on it, or a saying. I don't know, maybe this is the yoga. I don't know. I'm excited about that. That's bringing me joy just thinking about that maybe in year two.
Yeah. Merch would be really fun. Well, good to check in on these things. Let's take a break. And when we get back, we will share our peaks and valleys.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso and Samra Origins by the Weekend Coffee Collection.
Introducing Samra Origins. My collaboration with Nespresso is a connection to my roots, to my mother, Samra. Coffee that hits the right notes. It transports you. Crafted with unique notes and bold, soaring flavors. Experience a taste that moves you. Nespresso, and Samra Origins.
Discover more at Nespresso.com.
And we are back with peaks and valleys, because in life, there are always peaks and valleys.
Malika, before we get started with our own peaks and valleys, we invited our listeners to share their peaks with us so that we could read them on our podcast. So I'm excited for us to dig into them. Let's shout out what is going well for our listeners.
Let's do it.
My husband got a promotion. His name is Dave.
Congratulations, Dave.
Yay.
Nancy from Vermont says, my peak this past year has been getting a puppy and falling in love with her.
Oh, love that. This is from Diana, who says, I got promoted and my kids got into the really great daycare in town after being on the wait list for 2 years.
Wow, that's amazing.
Congratulations.
I'm so happy for you, Diana, and for your children.
Yes.
We know how important childcare is. Sue King says, my peak is seizing a job opportunity that came up in my line of work. I let people know I was interested, applied for it, interviewed, and was chosen in March. I started in April and haven't looked back.
Woohoo!
Yay! Congratulations, Sue.
Good job being persistent.
That makes me think we should do a festival of networking.
Oh, I'm terrible at networking though. Okay. All right. Let's talk about
Maybe
that.
not. I don't know.
Let's talk about that.
But there's a lot in Sue's peak there.
There is a lot to learn. My name is Lise, not far from Montreal, and I started doing watercolor and enjoying it mostly.
That's great. Congratulations, Lise, in Camp Gretchen doing the watercolor.
Yeah, outside Montreal.
Mandy wrote in and said, my peak is that I have gotten half of my house purged and organized and will have one more room done by the end of the week.
Wow. Congratulations. So by the time we're reading this, you are done. That's great work. Zoe Ray says, I'll be celebrating my 5-year wedding anniversary, 10 years together. Ooh,
Yay!
that's a big deal.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Wow. That's awesome.
Janelle from Pittsburgh says, I'm starting my 28th year as a teacher and I still enjoy my job.
That's awesome. As an educator, thank you for what you do and for staying in it and enjoying it.
Yes.
Tanea from Rome, Georgia says, I own a yoga studio in our small town and we just celebrated our 15th anniversary plus 5 years since I took over as owner. It was especially exciting for me because I bought the studio just 6 months before we had to shut down for COVID. I had to push through. There were not other options in my mind because I had just invested in it. We went online within a week and reopened with masks and hybrid classes a bit later. I had so many amazing and supportive students who have come along for the ride, so I loved being able to celebrate them for our anniversary week.
Wow.
What a great story.
Congratulations. I can only imagine what you were going through making those decisions, but that's so cool that you've pulled through and are going strong.
15 years is a long time. That's fantastic.
So this is from a listener named Gretchen. She says, my peak is that I just booked flights to London for my 40th birthday next spring. It will be the first time for my husband and teenage sons, and I haven't been since I was in high school.
Ooh, what a great way to celebrate your birthday.
Have a wonderful trip.
Yeah, that's awesome. Take lots of pictures. This is from Kristen, who says, made it into the finals in my karate club's World Cup. Wow.
Awesome.
What an accomplishment, Kristen. Good job.
Jody from Northampton, Massachusetts says, my peak was going to Progression Brewery in town for a night of bonsai bar, a hands-on event learning how to pot and trim a bonsai while drinking beer. Fun, different, informative date night.
What? Bonsai and beer? That's so cool.
That sounds awesome. That is near me, so I'm going to look into that.
Write it
sounds so
down.
fun.
I think this is your next date night, Micah.
That sounds so fun.
Ruthie has no particular peak to share at the moment, but would like to congratulate the Happier Ladies on the peak of celebrating a full year's worth of delightful episodes I love hanging out with y'all.
Aw, thanks, Ruthie.
Thank you, Ruthie.
Shanae from Douglasville, Georgia says, I started my personal blog again after a 4-year pause.
Wow. Congratulations, Shanae.
Oh, so many good peaks. It makes you feel like you're on a high just to hear other people's good news.
I loved that, Malika. I'm so excited and happy for everyone's happiness. Maybe we need to do that again sometime.
Maybe we will. I think that's a good idea.
Thank you for sharing, everybody.
Azizi, what is your peak this week?
Okay, so now it's my turn. And my peak is for all of our family members, and our friends, but mostly our family members who make the podcast possible. You shouted out Norm. Sometimes my daughters get involved. They take the dog, my husband, just everyone has supported our journey. And I want to thank them. So that is my peak, all of their support.
Yay. I want to thank them too.
Yes. And Malika, what's your valley?
So my valley is around planning. So we've talked about doing this quintile planning approach that we both learned from Sarah Hart Unger. So we are approaching the beginning of quintile 4, which is like the start of the school year. And I've had this thing on my calendar and I've kept moving it. It's had to keep moving, like when I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And then I actually did have some time yesterday, but I felt like I couldn't do it all. Like I had about 2 hours and I realized my brain gets kind of mushy after 90 minutes. Like I need to take a break and walk away and come back. But like that was all I had.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I need a whole day. There's just so many moving parts.
Yeah.
Obviously things will get planned, it'll get done. But I feel like maybe at some other point in the year, I was able to do maybe the beginning of the year. You and I kind of did it in tandem.
Yeah.
That felt like I got to the bottom of it, which was like such an empowering feeling where I'm like, yes, I can take on the next 3 months. I know what's happening. I know. And obviously things change and come up, but there was such a satisfying feeling. And I want that feeling back.
Well, also, maybe you don't have to get to the bottom of it. Maybe you get to the place where you get, and that's good enough.
Well, it has to be good enough. 'Cause what else?
I mean, you can also keep going. You can keep doing it. It's for 2 months, so it's not over yet. You haven't reached the time at which to continue to plan and try to find time to do it.
I will have to continue doing it.
Yeah.
There's still stuff to figure out that has not been figured out yet.
Right.
So things will happen. It's just not in this one and done kind of situation. It's going to be ongoing.
It's phases, maybe 1 month at a time, or I don't know. But I got the bulk of mine done on the plane back from visiting you. I think that was a suggestion maybe you had or somebody had. Maybe it was Sarah Hart Unger about how productive you can be on a plane. And so that was 4 hours. So there's plenty of time and nowhere to go. I got a lot of it done, but it does take a lot of energy and it is exhausting. So I understand that. Let me know if I can help you.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, your encouragement is helpful.
Keep going, Malika.
I believe. I believe that. I always mess up. I believe that I can win. I believe that I can win. I believe that I can win.
I believe that I can win. Yay!
Yay! All right. Well, that brings us to the end. Azizi, let's leave on a happier thought. What are you going to try this week?
I'm going to start thinking about some merch.
All right.
You have to start with the vision, so I'm going to start imagining what that might be. What about you, Malika?
I am going to look up that bonsai class.
Yes, go quickly. Go do
that. That does sound like a great date night.
Yes, it makes me happy to think about you guys doing that.
All right. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. You can find our show notes in the episode description. If you like us, rate, review, and tell a friend. And don't forget to follow us.
Send us a message at happierladies@gmail.com and tell us something you liked about Happier and Happier in Hollywood this week.
Our show was edited by Magnus Bjorgum, and our theme music was created by Wyatt Muncie.
And we also want to give a very special shout out to Gretchen Rubin, Liz Kraft, and Sarah Fain for inspiring our conversation each week.
You can find us on Instagram at happierladies and on the web at happierladies.com. All right, Azizi. Have a happier week.
Have a happier week, Malika.
Bye.
Bye. Do you want to have a different end? Just good to check in on these things.
I think that's okay.
Okay. All right.
We got to get you to your nail appointment.
That's not, like I said, it's okay.
Keep it
Wanna
moving. It's
retake
not
that.
okay.
Okay.
You need
All
to
right.
get your nails done.
Okay. All right. You're right.
This podcast is part of the Sound Advice FM network. Sound Advice FM, women's voices amplified.